Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh dan selamat pagi. So hari ini saya akan memberikan Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh dan salam sejahtera. So hari ini saya akan teruskan dengan kuliah tingkah laku sihat ataupun health behavior. Okay. So inilah yang kita akan go through, iaitu pengenalan kepada tingkah laku sihat, promosi tingkah kesihatan, tingkah laku kesihatan, dan juga bagaimana berlaku sesuatu perubahan uh, kepada habit kesihatan itu, dan cognitive behavioral approach to health behavior change, dan juga the trans-theoretical model of behavior change. Okay, so kalau kita lihat kepada definition tingkah laku sihat itu sendiri adalah basically apabila bercakap tentang tingkah laku, dia adalah sesuatu yang berkaitan dengan action. So it's an action taken by an individual. Okay, sesuatu tingkah laku yang telah diambil oleh seorang individu untuk sama ada maintain, achieve or regain good health. Maknanya apa-apa yang dia buat adalah ultimate goal adalah untuk mencapai kesihatan yang sejahtera, yang baik, and of course to prevent illness, untuk mengelak daripada mengidap apa-apa penyakit. So it usually reflects an individual's health belief. So kalau individu yang mempunyai sistem kepercayaan tentang kesihatan itu tinggi, beliau percaya bahawa dengan beliau aktif, beliau akan sihat, beliau akan terhindar daripada penyakit-penyakit yang boleh mendatangkan kesakitan itu, penyakit-penyakit yang disebabkan oleh modifying lifestyle ataupun penyakit yang disebabkan oleh gaya hidup manusia itu sendiri. Maka beliau bertingkah laku untuk kekalkan kesihatan yang baik. Okay, so health behaviors include actions that lead to better quality of health and lifestyle. So apa-apa saja yang individu itu buat, goalnya adalah untuk memastikan tahap kualiti kesihatannya sentiasa baik, gaya hidupnya sentiasa aktif, pemakanannya sentiasa pemakanan sihat, balance, dan juga physically active. So actions that affect health, such as increasing one's risk of disease like smoking, excessive alcohol intake, and risky sexual behavior, are those included in health behaviors. Maknanya individu itu menyedari bahawa risiko-risiko seperti merokok, menghisap vape, mengambil alkohol berlebihan, dan mengamalkan tingkah laku seksual yang berisiko tinggi boleh menyebabkan pelbagai-pelbagai penyakit ini, maka mereka mengelakkannya. Okay. So, apa itu peranan faktor-faktor tingkah laku itu terhadap kemenjadian sesuatu penyakit? So in the past centuries, patterns of diseases in US have changed substantially. Okay, saya percaya bukan saja di US tetapi di seluruh negara, terutamanya juga di dalam konteks kita di Malaysia. So kalau dulu kita lihat kepada penyakit-penyakit berjangkit, penyakit-penyakit disebabkan oleh virus, disebabkan oleh vaksin, kan, measles, campak, MMR dan sebagainya, dulu disebabkan oleh mungkin tahap kualiti ataupun keselamatan kesihatan itu sendiri, or the policy maker itu sendiri, menyebabkan penyakit-penyakit bawaan kuman ini ataupun penyakit-penyakit berjangkit ini meningkat. Tetapi kita lihat kepada apabila semakin baiknya tahap kesihatan yang disediakan oleh kita punya healthcare provider, for example di Malaysia, kalau Kementerian Kesihatan lah, maknanya tahap kesihatan, perkhidmatan kesihatan yang baik, makanya kita dapat lihat berlaku pengurangan ataupun penyusutan bilangan prevalence penyakit-penyakit berjangkit. But apabila berlaku penyusutan penyakit-penyakit berjangkit ini, kita dapat lihat bilangan penyakit yang disebabkan oleh gaya hidup ataupun the modifying lifestyle disease. Penyakit-penyakit yang disebabkan oleh perubahan gaya hidup semakin meningkat. Kalau kita tengok increase patterns in preventable disease, maknanya penyakit-penyakit yang dia tidak boleh jangkit tetapi dia disebabkan oleh gaya hidup manusia itu, seperti lung cancer, cardiovascular disease, alcohol and drug abuse, and also vehicle accident semakin meningkat. Okay, and the role of behavior factors in the development of this disease is clear as shown in table 3.1. And nearly half of the deaths in the US, okay, are caused by preventable factors with smoking, obesity, drug abuse, and problem drinking being 4 of the main causes of death. Okay, so kalau kita lihat dekat situ, okay, risk factor, faktor-faktor risiko yang boleh menyebabkan penyakit yang membawa kepada kematian. Iaitu penyakit, apa dia? Penyakit itu adalah penyakit jantung, kanser, okay, unintentional injuries disebabkan oleh kecuaian, kelalaian kita waktu berada di atas jalan raya, okay. The chronic lower respiratory disease, penyakit yang disebabkan oleh saluran pernafasan, dan juga penyakit stroke. So apa faktor-faktor risiko kepada penyakit-penyakit ini? So kalau kita lihat penyakit jantung, of course disebabkan oleh penggunaan tobacco, hisap rokok, high cholesterol di dalam pemakanan, food intake-nya mengandungi lipid yang tinggi, okay? High blood pressure, tekanan darah tinggi, physical inactivity, manusia itu tidak aktif bergerak secara fizikal, banyak sedentary lifestyle, obesity and being overweight juga merupakan risk factor kepada penyakit jantung, dan diabetic, penyakit kencing manis, tekanan, tertekan, all this mental illness, stress, over stress pun boleh menyebabkan penyakit jantung. Okay, poor diet, pemakanan, pattern pemakanan yang kata sangat membimbangkan, dan juga excessive alcohol use, pengambilan alkohol yang berlebihan. So kesemua ini merupakan faktor-faktor risiko kepada penyakit jantung. So kalau kita lihat kanser, smoking lah. Smoking, lung cancer boleh menyebabkan smoking boleh menyebabkan lung cancer, unhealthy diets, dan juga environmental factor. No doubt juga genetic is one of the risk factor for all cancers lah. And then unintentional injuries adalah on the road, or failure to wear seat belts, failure to wear helmets, fail to put your children in a car seat, that can be as well the risk factor for this motor vehicle accidents. Kalau kat rumah pula jatuh, meminum bahan beracun, okay, kebakaran, itu juga boleh menyebabkan faktor risiko kepada kecederaan yang tidak disengajakan. Okay, so chronic lower respiratory disease adalah seperti tobacco, environment factors such as pollution, radon, and asbestos. And manakala penyakit stroke adalah faktor-faktor risikonya adalah tekanan darah tinggi, penggunaan tobacco yang membimbangkan, kencing manis, high cholesterol, okay, ketidakaktifan secara fizikal, dan juga obesity. Okay, so kalau kita lihat dekat sini, the health promotion, bagaimana kita nak mengatasi ataupun nak mengelakkan daripada menghidap mana-mana penyakit di atas tadi tu, yang sebelum tadi, adalah ini peranan kita, sama ada sebagai individu, sama ada kita sebagai individu, sebagai jiran, sebagai ahli keluarga, ataupun kita dalam bidang kesihatan sebagai medical practitioner, ataupun anda bakal health psychologist, okay, dan juga the community and the national policy makers, semua berperanan dalam meningkatkan tingkah laku sihat, membuat promosi tingkah laku sihat dalam memastikan kesejahteraan kesihatan kita semua sentiasa terjamin. So adalah melalui health promotion behavior. Health promotion is a philosophy that has at its core the idea that good health, okay, or wellness is a personal and collective achievement. Yeah, of course, individu itu dan juga the whole population in the community, in the nation, okay, secara global. So sebagai seorang individu, apa peranan kita is developing a program of good health habits. Bagaimana kita nak menggalakkan kawan-kawan kita, ahli keluarga kita untuk sentiasa kekal sihat ataupun mula mengamalkan tingkah laku sihat, mula mengamalkan pemakanan sihat. So kita mungkin boleh berbicara, berkongsi dan berbincang meal plan ataupun rutin aktiviti yang kita boleh lakukan bersama-sama dalam memastikan kesejahteraan kesihatan yang optimum, yang balance. So untuk medical practitioner pula adalah they teach people how to achieve a healthy lifestyle and helping people at risk for particular health problems offset or monitor those risks. So kalau mungkin seorang pesakit diabetik, dia pergi follow up dengan di klinik dan berjumpa dengan medical officer. So medical officer tu berperanan untuk berbincang, untuk bersama-sama membantu diabetic patient itu mencari jalan ataupun come up with tips on how to reduce the sugar, the reading of the blood sugar itu, dan mungkin revise makanan-makanan apa yang diambil dan aktiviti apa. So itu peranan medical practitioner. Dia mengajar pesakit-pesakit untuk mencapai a healthy lifestyle lah. So health psychologist pula adalah development of interventions to help people practice healthy behavior. So kita membuat program intervensi untuk membantu individu-individu ini untuk mengamalkan, mempraktiskan tingkah laku sihat. Okay, dan bagaimana kita nak memodify tingkah laku, modify pemikiran, memberi emosi yang seronok kepada individu-individu ini untuk mempraktikkan tingkah laku sihat. Okay. Dan juga dari segi community and national policy, emphasizing good health and providing information, okay, and resources to help people change poor health habits. So kalau kita tengok dekat sini contoh yang diambil oleh Kementerian Kesihatan Malaysia, 10,000 langkah setiap hari bagi menjamin tahap kesihatan anda. Okay, 10,000 langkah itu adalah yang telah dikeluarkan oleh World Health Organization WHO, mengatakan 10,000 langkah adalah sufficient untuk individu mengekalkan kestabilan kesihatan fizikal mereka. So it backs to berbalik kepada the energy out and energy in, the food intake, the calorie out dan calorie in. So dia boleh balance out lah. So ini peranan-peranan those yang dalam bidang kesihatan lah. So they make a good policy that can enhance and boost good health in a way to curb all these diseases. Okay. Okay. So next, health behaviors and health habits. Okay, so kalau you tengok dekat situ, semua adalah gambar-gambar yang ditunjukkan itu adalah gambar-gambar yang memberi refleksi kepada habit berkaitan kesihatan yang baiklah. So health behavior, tingkah laku kesihatan ini sebenarnya adalah suatu perkara yang kita harus mulakannya daripada awal. Maknanya usia awal, usia kecil anak itu, kita harus expose mereka kepada tingkah laku yang baik ini. So health behavior are behaviors, okay, undertaken by people to enhance or maintain their health. Okay, makan sayur, jangan hanya setakat makan sayur, tapi kita makan bersama-sama. Ajar anak apakah yang ada dalam, okay, apa contoh-contoh sayur macam mana sihat, kan? And then for example, gosok gigi, ajar anak gosok gigi. So these are actually the behaviors that people took to maintain or enhance their health. So health habit is a health behavior that is firmly established and often performed automatically without awareness. Habit, dan nama habit pun kadang-kadang habit itu bersendiri namanya adalah perkara yang kita buat tanpa kita sedar. Kita dah get used to, dah part of our routine. So apa dia habit-habit yang berkaitan dengan kesihatan pada in daily life? Of course, gosok gigi, kan? Cuci muka, kan? Pakai seatbelt automatically bila masuk kereta terus pakai seatbelt. Ini yang kita firmly establish daripada awal, and kita akan sentiasa perform setiap hari tanpa kita perlu diingatkan. Right. Okay. So actually berkaitan dengan the good health habits ini, right? Sekumpulan researcher iaitu Bellow and Breslow pada tahun 1970 dia telah mengkaji kepentingan untuk individu itu mempunyai good health habits, practice good health habits. So mereka lakukan kajian kepada 7,000 penduduk-penduduk di Alameda County, California. Okay, so residents were asked about illness that they had, apa penyakit yang dia ada, and then what energy level had been, and how disabled they had been, how many days of work they had missed, and over the previous 6 to 12 months. So basically, Bellow and Breslow ni dia memperkenalkan 7 health habit yang sepatutnya setiap daripada kita lakukan, iaitu yang pertama adalah mendapat tidur yang mencukupi dalam tempoh 7 ke 8 jam setiap malam. So dia pun advise the people in the community 7 ke 8 jam tidur setiap hari, okay? Dan tidak merokok, elakkan merokok, dan pada waktu pagi breakfast is a must. Tak boleh skip. Okay? Eating breakfast each day and having no more than 1 or 2 alcoholic drinks each day. So dia kata quantity dalam 1 ke 2 cup, kan, setiap hari. Not more than that. Okay, and then regular exercise. Getting regular exercise, not eating between meals, okay, tidak ada junk food. Di antara waktu makan itu tiada this binge eating, and then being no more than 10% of overweight. Maknanya kalau berlebihan berat badan itu seharusnya tidak melebihi 10% daripada lebihan berat badan. Ini tak masuk obese. So before that, normal, overweight and overweight ke obese tu 10% the borderline. So kalau individu ini, okay, residents di California ini, Alameda County ini mengamalkan 7 habit ini, kan? And then dia amalkan selama beberapa tempoh bulan, dan they will ask later on, okay, apa yang penyakit yang dialami. Okay, so apa yang didapati oleh Bellow and Breslow ini, the researchers found that more good health habits people practice. So dia buat campaign, dia buat health promotion behavior. So didapati ramai residents yang telah practice a good health habits, and didapati fewer illnesses that they had reported, and the better they had felt, okay, mempunyai tahap kesihatan fizikal yang baik, and the less disabled that they had been. So these are all good findings, good feelings that the residents had answered and feel, kan, apabila mereka practice the 7 health habits tu tadi. So they follow up between 9 to 12 years later, and the same people, and they found that mortality rates ataupun kadar kematian semakin were dramatically lower, okay, adalah rendah di kalangan resident yang mengamalkan 7 health habits ini. Maknanya the prevalence or the statistic of kematian itu adalah rendah di kalangan individu yang mengamalkan 7 health habits ini. So men following these practices had a mortality rate of only 28%. Maknanya lelaki lagi rendah lah. Lelaki-lelaki yang mengamalkan 7 health habits ini, kadar mortality rate-nya adalah 28%, manakala perempuan mortality rate-nya adalah 43%. And then but compared to men and women who practice 0 to 3 of these health habits. So means to say, okay, individual sama ada lelaki atau perempuan yang mengamalkan 7 health habits ini mempunyai kadar mortality yang rendah berbanding dengan mereka yang hanya mengamalkan 3 ataupun tidak lebih daripada 3 health habits daripada 7 health habits ini. Okay. So primary prevention is instilling good health habits and changing poor ones is the task of primary prevention. So ni semua kita semua kadang-kadang tanpa kesedari kita buat. So kita nak instill a good health habits kepada seseorang individu, kan? And at the same time kita nak change, nak tukarkan kepada yang tidak baik itu kepada yang baik. So itu adalah tugas primary prevention. So primary prevention is us to combat risk factors for illness before an illness has a chance to develop. So kita nak, kalau kita tengok risk factor tadi banyak kan, merokok, hisap menghisap rokok, mengambil alkohol, tidur yang mungkin yang poor diet, kan, very sedentary. So sebelum terbentuknya suatu penyakit itu, the risk factor for the illness itself, we have to prevent. Okay. So the two strategies are to get people to alter their problematic health behaviors. Okay, cari habit-habit yang tak baik ni, yang buruk ni, kan? And then we help them to lose weight through an intervention. For example, nak bantu individu untuk mengurangkan berat badan adalah kita identify the risk factor ataupun habits yang mereka selalu lakukan. Mungkin they love to eat junk food. So bagaimana daripada eating junk food itu kita boleh reduce the amount of eating slowly, bit by bit. At the end of the day, dia akan membuang habit. Dia akan buang habit mengambil junk food itu kepada mungkin menukarnya kepada buah-buahan. Okay, eating fruits are good health habits. So in a way, it can help people to lose weight, okay, through the intervention that the people in the profession lakukan. And second strategy is to keep people from developing poor health habits. Iaitu kita buat smoking prevention programs with young adolescent. Okay. Okay, so tengok dekat sini, the old habits we swap, okay, kita tukarkan menjadi the new health habits lah, good health habits. So via practicing and changing health behaviors. So what factors lead one person to lead a healthy life and another to compromise his or her health, right? So these are the factors: demographic factors, age, cultural values, personal control, social influence, personal goals and values, perceived symptoms, access to healthcare delivery system, and knowledge and cognition. Okay, so kalau kita tengok apa itu, like for example, what factors practicing, of course there must be factors that lead one person to live a healthy lifestyle, to lead a healthy life, and another to compromise his or her health. So kalau ikut tengok, the first factor is the demographic factors. Of course, the younger ones, the more affluent, better educated people with low levels of stress and high levels of social support. So they are the typically practice better health habits than people under higher levels of stress with fewer resources. So it shows that this demographic lah, muda, berpengaruh, better educated people with low levels of stress, and those yang have a good level of social supports. So they would be typically practice health habits, ataupun they will usually buatlah, kan, amalkan gaya hidup yang sihat, a better health habits. Okay, yang kedua adalah umur, age tu tadi. So health habits ni, they are typically good in childhood. So bila the best to promote, to introduce and to establish the health habit, the good health habits adalah sewaktu anak itu kecil. So maknanya lagi kecil, lagi bagus kita perkenalkan, kita establish a very good healthy lifestyle. Okay, and then somehow it will deteriorate in adolescent and young adulthood. But again, the health habits, the practice of better health habits will improve again among older people. Mulalah start balik ada kesedaran, keinsafan untuk practice a good lifestyle or a healthy lifestyle. Okay. Yang ketiga adalah cultural values, iaitu the values affect the practice of health habits. For example, exercise for women may be considered desirable in one culture. So ada setengah budaya, okay, Zumba is good, it's awesome, it's sweating, fun kind of thing. Alright, but undesirable in another. So it depends on the culture. Ada yang merasakan exercise itu boring, leceh dan tak sesuai. So, but disconnecting health interventions to cultural values may reduce ethnic health disparities. Okay. And personal control. So, people who regard their health as under their personal control practice better health habits than people who regard their health as due to chance. So, the health locus of control scale, so which includes such items as I am in control of my health and health professionals control my health, measures the degree to which people perceive their health to be under control, to be under personal control, controlled by the health practitioner or chance. So it depends sama ada that we can control our health habits ataupun the people in the authority ataupun the health professional yang mengawal kita punya kesihatan. Okay. So next factor is the social influence. So people, the social norms to develop, or the social norms that develop in families, among friends, and in communities can have powerful effects on both health enhancing and health compromising behavior. So, kita nak berubah, nak buat satu habit ni memang betul-betul perlukan sokongan, support from the people around us. Families, friends, and workplace companions, kawan-kawan sekerja, colleagues kita sangat-sangat memainkan peranan dan pengaruh dalam tingkah laku kesihatan kita. So, for example, peer pressure often leads to smoking in adolescent, but may influence people to stop smoking in adulthood. Okay. All right. Personal goals and values. Health habits are tied to personal goals. So, if personal fitness is an important goal, a person is more likely to exercise. So, personal goals. Kalau orang itu ada goals that they want to achieve every day, like for example, every day dia kena berjalan 10,000 langkah. So, bila dia ada personal goals, dia akan melakukan action itu. Right. And then perceived symptoms. So, some health habits are controlled by perceived symptoms. So, for example, a smoker who wakes up with a smoker's cough and raspy throat may cut back in the belief that he or she is vulnerable to health problems at time. So, bila dia perceive symptoms, physical symptoms yang dia alami, batuk, sakit tekak, so high likely dia tend to hapuskan dia punya the bad health habits itu. Okay, knowledge and cognition. Access to healthcare delivery system memanglah sangat-sangat memainkan satu faktor yang sangat mempengaruhi kepada practicing or changing a good health behaviors. So, access to the healthcare delivery system maknanya individu itu mempunyai kemudahan untuk mendapatkan rawatan sistem kesihatan di mana-mana premises. So, it affects the health behaviors of the individual. For example, obtaining a regular pap smear, okay, getting mammograms, and receiving immunization for childhood diseases depends on access to healthcare. So other behaviors such as losing weight and stopping smoking may be indirectly encouraged by the healthcare system through lifestyle advice. And last one will be knowledge and cognition kita. Okay, the practice of health behavior is tied to cognitive factors. Cara kita berfikir, apa yang berada di benak fikiran kita, our belief system, and also our intelligence. Okay, so more knowledgeable and smarter people typically take better care of themselves. So people who are identified as intelligent in childhood have better health-related biological profiles in adulthood. So which may be explained by their practice of better health behaviors in early life. So using information like this to develop personalized health behavior change messages, perhaps by computer, shows some promise for optimizing message appeal and efficacy. But the effects of personalized messages are not always strong. Okay, so berikut adalah faktor yang menyebabkan individu untuk practice good health habits. Alright. Okay. Next is the barriers to modifying poor health behavior. So of course, the emotional factors may lead to unhealthy behavior. Okay, all right. So there is often little or immediate incentive for practicing good health behaviors. But however, our health habits develop during childhood. Okay, ingat, paling senang kita bentuk waktu anak-anak, waktu kanak-kanak. And when adolescents, when most people are healthy. So for example, smoking, poor diet, and lack of exercise have no apparent effect on health for years, and few children and adolescents are concerned about what their health will be like when they are 40 or 50 years old. So as a result, bad habits have a chance to make inroads. So the first barriers will be the emotional factors. Okay, so emotions may lead to or perpetuate the unhealthy behaviors. So poor health behaviors can be pleasurable. Seronok lah makan junk food, okay, benda-benda yang manis. And they are automatic, addictive, and of course, resistance to change. So moreover, the threatening messages designed to change health behaviors can produce psychological distress, and it can lead people to respond defensively. Okay, so dismissing risk to their health, and people may perceive a health threat to be less relevant than it really is, and they may falsely see themselves as less vulnerable than or dissimilar to people with the same habit. So continuing to practice a risky behavior may itself lead people to minimize their risk and feel a sense of security. Okay, so next barrier will be the instability of health behavior. Okay, apa itu? Okay. Right. Instability of health behavior is the health habits are unstable over time. Kejap-kejap kita ni kadang tak istiqomah, tak konsisten. Ada waktu-waktu kita rasa bersemangat, kita nak practice the good health habits, but tiba-tiba time we are not in a good mood, we are having some things in our mind, so it stops us from continuing from practicing the good health behaviors. So health habits are unstable over time, and a person may stop smoking for a year but take up again during a period of high stress. Okay, right. So why are health habits relatively independent of each other and they are unstable? The first one is different health habits are controlled by different factors. Okay, for example, Smoking may be related to stress, and whereas exercise depends heavily on access to athletic facilities. Alah, malaslah nak exercise, jauh nak pergi gym, penat nak pergi gym, nak kena bawa baju lagi, nak kena mandi lagi. So these are the thoughts yang selalu bermain lah di fikiran individu, and then that stops them from continuing practicing a good health habits. Okay. And second, it's different factors may control the same health habit, health behavior for different people. So one person's over eating may be social, and she may eat primarily in the presence of other people, whereas another person may overeat only when under stress. Okay. And then the third would be factors controlling a health behavior may change over the history of the behavior. Okay, for example, although peer group pressure is the social factors is important in initiating smoking, over time, smoking may be maintained because it reduces feelings of stress. Okay, and then fourth would be factors controlling a health behavior may change across a person's lifetime. And in childhood, regular exercise is practiced because it is built in the school curriculum. But in adulthood, the behavior must be practiced intentionally. Inilah regular exercise. Dentist datang klinik, datang sekolah, sekolah rendah, and anak-anak kena bawa bergigi, kena bawa cawan. So they practice waktu childhood, and they embed dalam the sistem pendidikan itu. Tetapi apabila individu itu makin besar, kita yang perlu lakukan dengan kehendak sendiri. Okay. Alright. Sekejap kita break 2 minit sekejap ya. Okay. Jom. Okay, next one is intervening with children and adolescent. Okay, seronok kita sebenarnya nak ajar budak-budak, nak ajar anak-anak kecil tentang undang-undang, tentang peraturan, tentang bagaimana nasihat, kenapa kena sihat, sebab diorang mudah nak terima dan mudah nak praktis lah. So, in socialization and using the teachable moment, the two strategies that we can practice untuk kita buat langkah-langkah pencegahan pada kanak-kanak dan adolescent. Okay, so yang pertama adalah socialization. Tengok gambar dekat situ kan, pakai helmet, bawa basikal elok kan, and then they have all these safety features. So socialization, okay, health habits are strongly affected by early socialization, especially the influence of parents as both teachers and role models. So parents instill certain habits in their children that become automatic, such as brushing teeth automatically. Okay, bangun tidur gosok gigi, lepas makan manis gosok gigi, nak tidur gosok gigi. Kenapa kena gosok gigi? Sebab kalau tak gosok gigi, virus akan berkumpul di mulut. So bila virus berkumpul lama-lama, dia akan merosakkan gigi, dia akan buat mulut kita berbau, kan? Dan akan menjejaskan kesihatan gigi kita. So bila kita explain pada anak dan kita ajar pada anak-anak ini, so automatically the health habits will run automatically lah. So parents instill certain habits in children that become automatic, such as brushing teeth and then eating breakfast every day. Why is it important to take your breakfast every day? Kan? It gives us energy. Dan kalau tak kita skip breakfast, apa consequences yang kita akan dapat in the long run? So we explain that to our kids. So the foundation of health promotion developed in early childhood. So when children are taught to practice good health behaviors, okay? So using the teachable moment, tengok good health habits ni lah antaranya kan, gosok gigi, okay, basuh tangan secara bersih, hygiene and then study, gunakan cahaya yang betul, mandi ggunakan sabun, cara nak sabun tu dengan baik, okay, membuang sampah, Okay, good sleep, tidur yang awal, no gadgets and exercise. So using the teachable moment is also one of the strategies in intervening with children and adolescent. Okay. So health promotion efforts capitalize on these teachable moments. And many teachable moments arise as early as pregnancy and in early childhood. So parents can teach their children basic safety behaviors such as looking both ways before crossing the street. Okay, sebelum nak melintas jalan, pandang kiri dan kanan. Kalau dah clear, baru boleh melintas. So that is part of the safety behaviors. And basic health habits such as drinking milk instead of carbonated drinks with dinner. Those are also psychoeducation yang kita boleh dedahkan kepada anak daripada awal lagi. So built into the healthcare systems, the pediatricians teach new parents the basic of accident prevention and home safety. Okay, and then in middle school, learning several health-related habits such as food choices according to food pyramid, yang mana yang perlu diambil banyak, yang mana perlu diambil sedikit. Okay, snacking bagus ke tak snacking, snacking bentuk yang macam mana, makanan jenis apa yang perlu, yang baik untuk kita snack kan, the nuts, the fruits kan, yang mana snacking yang perlu kita elakkan, all the junk foods tu kita perlu expose dan ajar anak. And dieting all crystallize around this time. So window of vulnerability for smoking and drug use, students are first exposed to these habits among their peers. Ni especially waktu-waktu remaja lah, mula terdedah, terpengaruh, dan mana yang gagal untuk to have a very self-control ataupun personal control, they tend to practice lah, they tend to expose and lakukan this health habit. So pregnancy is also a teachable moment for stopping smoking and improving diet. So the time period immediately after giving birth is also a teachable moment for increasing physical activity and regular exercise. Mana ibu-ibu yang mengandung, yang sebelum mengandung itu mengamalkan alkohol yang berlebihan, smoking. So mungkin bila mereka mengandung, mereka tahu bahawa impact alkohol, impact smoking ini akan memberi impact kesihatan kepada bayi yang dikandungan tu. So waktu mengandung, waktu pregnant itu adalah time yang they could stop these bad habits. Okay. Right. So next is the adolescent behaviors and adult health. So adolescent is a window of vulnerability. Kita tengok hormon orang kata macam roller coaster kan, pressure, and then all this. The time is when they try to practice these poor health habits, and then consequently intervening to prevent health habits from developing is a high priority for children in late elementary and middle school. So the health habits a person practices as a teenager may determine which chronic diseases he or she develops and what the person ultimately dies in the adulthood. So for adults who make changes in their lifestyle, it may already be too late. So this is true for sun exposure and skin cancer and calcium consumption for the prevention of osteoporosis. So risk factors for other diseases such as coronary heart disease may also be strongly affected by health habits by children and childhood and adolescent. Okay. Health promotion and older adults. So kalau kita tengok dekat sini, this is the phase and they started to have in mind that health is very important, kan? So kalau kita tengok the case study, John at the age of 92 starts each morning with a brisk walk. So after a light breakfast of whole wheat toast and orange juice, he gardens for an hour or two. Again, a good healthy lifestyle. So later he joins a couple of friends for lunch, and if he can persuade them to join him, they fish during the early afternoon. So reading a daily paper and always having a good book to read keeps John mentally sharp. So ask how he maintains such a busy schedule. John says exercise, friends, and mental challenge are the keys to his long and healthy lifestyle. So the photos below are examples of health promotion behavior in the elderly. Okay, cook together. Okay, you walk together, and then you just shop around together, and that those indicates a good health behaviors lah. So of course, in older adults, focus on several behaviors to maintain a healthy, a balanced diet and an exercise regimen, and take steps to reduce accidents, control alcohol consumption and eliminate smoking, and reduce inappropriate use of prescription drugs, and obtains vaccinations against influenza, and remain socially engaged. Okay. So, okay. Hold on, yeah. Okay. Next one is changing health habits, attitude change, and health behaviors. So communication should be colorful and vivid rather than steeped in statistics and jargons. Okay. Okay. So in this changing health habits, habit is a habit and not to be flung out of the window by any man, but coaxed downstairs a step at a time. Yeah, a quote from Mark Twain. Okay, so in the remainder of this chapter, we address of how health behaviors can be changed. And this chapter, this part especially focus on how theories inform behavior change efforts, because theoretically guided interventions provide specific guidelines for constructing interventions. And number two, they provide criteria for evaluating interventions. And number three is generate conclusions that can have broad applicability to older health behaviors and settings. So attitude change and health behaviors include educational appeals. So educational appeals make the assumptions that people will change their health habits if they have good information about their habit. Okay, kita akan cuba berubah, cuba mengamalkan good health habit apabila kita dapat info. Info-info ni ada daripada iklan, daripada TV, daripada social media yang berkaitan dengan message yang baik tentang kesihatan itu. So early and continuing efforts to change health habits have consequently focused heavily on education and changing attitude. So this is part of psychoeducation. Bagaimana kita nak memberi pendidikan, bagaimana kita nak memberi ilmu kepada community untuk melakukan perubahan yang baik. So kalau kita tengok table 3.2 itu, okay, that has list that the characteristic of that make health communications especially persuasive. And more recently, the fact that attitude change may not lead to behavior change has prompted research on what additional factors may be involved. And it is also important that automatic aspect of health habits has been incorporated into interventions as unconscious and non-conscious influences on the practice of health habits become increasingly apparent. So apa komponen di dalam educational appeals ini that memberi perubahan tingkah laku kepada perubahan inilah changing health habits. So iaitu yang pertama, of course communication should be colourful, menarik, vibrant, yang mudah difahami, yang senang people to capture that caught interest. So if possible, they should also use case history lah, case study kan. And then the communicator should be expert. Individu yang memberi pendidikan itu sepatutnya adalah di kalangan mereka yang pakar, yang prestigious, yang dipercayai kan. Like for example sekarang banyak sangat doktor TikTok yang pakar tu, itu part of the educational promotion yang mereka lakukan. And then a strong argument should be presented at the beginning and end of a message. So not buried in the message, in the middle. Like kita nak highlight yang merokok itu berbahaya. Apa yang patut kita highlight dalam poster material kita, poster promotion kita, merokok, jauhi merokok. So message itu harus clear di awal dan juga di hujung. And the message should be short, clear and direct. Messages should state conclusion explicitly, and extreme messages produce more attitude change, but only up to a point, and very extreme messages are discounted. For example, a message that urges people to exercise for half an hour a daily will be more effective than one that recommends 3 hours a day. So mana yang kita lebih jelas? Kan? Exercise 30 minit je. Berbanding dengan dalam sehari kita perlu 3 jam. So individu perlu buat calculation. Calculation yang memang kadang-kadang tak boleh nak copy, end up dia tak tengok dia poster itu. Kan? Tak nampak message itu. So for illness detection behavior such as HIV testing or obtaining a mammogram, emphasizing problems if the behaviors are not undertaken will be most effective. So for health promotion behavior such as exercise, so emphasizing the benefits will be more effective. Daripada exercise tu apa yang kita dapat? Kan? So segar jantung, pam darah dengan baik, berpeluh tu apa khasiatnya, apa yang akan, hormon apa yang terkeluar, hormon stres yang akan keluar menyebabkan badan semakin sihat, otak semakin stabil, mental dan fizikalnya. Okay. So if the audience is receptive to changing a health habits, then the communication should include only favorable points. But if the audience is not inclined to accept the message, the communication should discuss both sides of the issue. Okay, and intervention should be sensitive to the cultural norms of the community to which they are directed. For example, family-directed interventions may be especially effective in Latino communities. Okay, so kita tengok tadi educational appeal. Bagaimana kita memberi segala ilmu, fakta-fakta dalam kita punya marketing aid tu, marketing poster tu. But fear appeals pula, ketakutan. Kita nak highlight takut ke? Takut kalau ambil dadah, apa kesannya? Kalau obes, berlebihan, letaklah gambar sebesar-besar manusia dengan banyaknya burger, banyaknya all these junk foods dan ni. So they create rasa fear. So attitudinal approaches to changing health habits often make use of fear appeals. So this approach assumes that if people are afraid that a particular habit is hurting their health, they will change their behavior to reduce their fear. Okay. However, this relationship does not always hold. So persuasive messages that elicit too much fear may actually undermine health behavior change. So moreover, fear alone may not be sufficient to change behavior. And specific action recommendations such as where and how one can obtain a flu shot may be needed. So moreover, as already noted, fear can increase defensiveness, which reduces how effective an appeal will be. So it depends. Ada individu merasakan memang mujarab lah message poster itu. Ada yang macam it's just like very defensive. Okay. And people often use affective forecast, emosi, perasaan. So namely their predictions about how a decision will make them feel in the future as a basis for making health decision. So for example, the thought I am going to regret this might make a person think twice about drinking or driving or staying on the beach all day without sunscreen. Okay. So this one lah. So which health messages that works for you? So experts prefer negative ones, but the public follows positive messages. It depends, nak highlight yang negative, at the end kita nak reduce the health habits and promoting the good health behavior, ataupun kita highlight the positivity so that it shows that kita buat ni, kita akan dapat disadvantage. So a health message can be phrased in a positive or negative terms, and it depends on the types of message and on people's personal characteristic. Okay, alright. So thank you. Setakat ini saja untuk yang kuliah tingkah laku sihat ataupun health behavior. But I will continue with the theories that lies behind the in changing health behaviors, iaitu 2 teori utama adalah health belief model, HBM, dan juga TPB, Theory of Planned Behavior. Saya akan kupas dalam next lecture because the whole component of health psychology ni melibatkan dua teori yang penting ini, iaitu health behavior model, health belief model dan juga theory of planned behavior. Okay, so and also the process in explaining how people change. So there are few steps that involved. So ketiga ini saya akan kupas dalam next lecture. So till then, thank you very much, and I hope you understand the lecture. And I wish you all of you selamat Hari Raya Aidilfitri. Maaf zahir batin, dan insyaAllah selepas raya kita akan berjumpa lagi. So, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Dan selamat Hari Raya, maaf zahir batin. Sekian, terima kasih.